Hi folks, Michael Boynton here at Town Hall with just a reminder. Next week we have our special and annual town meetings beginning at 7 o'clock at Medway High School. You heard a little bit last week about the big article on the annual town meeting warrant, article number 1 for the purchase of the Shady Oaks Farm property on Winthrop Street. But I thought what I'd do is take a few minutes and just kind of run through some of the highlights of what's happening. First and foremost, most importantly, as we learned last year, when there's a large crowd that's expected, in order to try to avoid lines, it's really important if people can arrive as early as possible, and that'll help us and the town clerk staff get you in and checked in and into the meeting as quickly as possible. So we do anticipate a large crowd, especially with the Shady Oaks interest for this annual town meeting. So 7 o'clock is the special town meeting, and the special town meeting I think has 8 articles. They're all housekeeping of nature, and they're pretty much designed to deal with any types of issues that are occurring in the current fiscal year. So as an example, snow and ice. So we ran over on our snow and ice budget. We're going to transfer some money from free cash to cover that. That's the typical thing that you'll find on the special. The annual town meeting begins at 7:30, and at 7:30 we'll walk through, again, beginning with Article 1, which is the Shady Oaks purchase, and then we'll walk through a host of articles designed to get ourselves set up and operating for the year that begins on July 1st of this year. So fiscal year 27 begins July 1st. A few items. Article 3, that's our operating budget. Knock on wood, we have still managed to avoid the challenges that so many communities across the state are dealing with. We're not talking about overrides. We're not talking about budget deficits. We're not talking about cutbacks. The municipal side and the school department have worked very closely to put this budget together. It has been an amazing partnership. The select board, the finance committee, the school committee, the capital improvement committee, everybody's worked well to put all of the finances in place for yet another year of solid operations. And I would say the largest driver of this is that we have done exceptionally well with health insurance increases over the last 5 years. Our total health insurance increase over 5 years has been just about 10.2%. That includes what's coming as of July 1st of 26 for fiscal 27. It's unheard of, but we've done well. Our experience has been decent. Now, we could be on borrowed time. We certainly could be talking about a very different situation next year. But at this point in time, as we head into the next fiscal year's budget, when I say next year, I mean 28, not 27. We're doing really, really well. And again, that's a tremendous testament to the teamwork that exists here between town leaders, school leaders, and all of our appointed and elected boards and committees. Article 7, another highlight, that's our annual capital improvement budget. Why? Why do we worry about this? Because it's as important to give our employees the tools necessary to do the job and to make sure that that equipment works. You don't want us to find out in the middle of a snowstorm that the snowplows don't work. You don't want to find out that the ambulances aren't running. And again, we have a number of different items that are on the capital improvement list, and that would be under Article 7. So it's important for us to always stay ahead of the curve with the tools and the infrastructure for our incredible workers that go out every single day and do the job. Article 8, that is an article to request design funding for Northfield and Lamson Field resurfacing. The playing surfaces are about 2 years away from needing to be overhauled. Again, we can't thank the residents enough about the way Hanlon Field turned out, the track and the field this past year. Residents at the Springtown meeting last May approved those funds, and we have had an absolute fantastic facility out there. So again, we're planning ahead, and we're going to do some design work on North and Lamson going forward. Article 9, we have a major investment in the Lovering Street water tank. The Lovering tank is one of 2 main tanks, Highland Street being the other tank. It's important for us for fire protection, for pressure, etc., that tank is in service as long as possible, forever. So what we need to do is do what's called a full rehabilitation. Now, currently, folks may have seen some water being drained from that. There's a mixing valve that's inside that tank that if you were watching the select board meeting, you will have noted we said that had to be replaced, and that's why that tank had to be drained so we could get access to the mixing valve. But this will be actually interior recoating, stripping, and preserving of that tank for years to come. So that's a big article into Article 9. Article 11, that's our annual roads and sidewalks budget. $800,000 from taxation to put towards roads and sidewalks, along with $750,000 from free cash, as well as what we get from the state in Chapter 90. I will put Medway's roads and sidewalks up against anybody's in the quality of surface. And again, this goes back to the efforts that the select board put in place back when we got the original Exelon funds to make sure that we were putting additional monies into roads and sidewalks and rehabilitating them every single year. So we have a great plan in place. Our DPW does an awesome job managing the road surface inventory that we have, and we're going to look to, again, under Article 11, put some additional funds in so that we can continue that project going forward. The big project this coming year, and you'll hear more about this soon, is Summer Street. So we're going to be resurfacing, milling and resurfacing Summer Street from the Bellingham line, essentially Main Street, all the way to the Holliston town line. So it's a huge project. It's about 20 years that since the road's been done. So we're going to get out there and we're going to resurface it and make sure that we maintain it for another at least 20 years. Article 16, I call attention to this one because this is a pilot, a payment in lieu of taxes agreement with the second battery storage facility that's proposed. So the Medway Energy Center that is proposed for the area behind Stone Street, that facility is in the design stage right now. We have a host community agreement with this group. We have now a pilot agreement with this group, and it's mission critical that we're able to do a pilot agreement with potential battery storage or energy generating facilities. We've done one with Exelon. We did one with Medway Grid. This is now the third one that we'll do, and this is an absolute protection for the residents of Medway. Because without a pilot, again, this is not a referendum on whether or not the second battery storage facility should be built. That's going to be either a local permitting or a state energy facility sightings board permitting process. We're going to try to hopefully have them do it right here locally, but there is no stopping a BESS facility based on whether or not the pilot is approved. The pilot agreement puts stability into what we will generate for taxable revenue. We had it studied, we had it reviewed, and we had it negotiated with the company as to what will come along. So if this facility goes forward and it is fully built, then the town of Medway will realize just over $3 million a year in general fund revenue and just under $100,000 on top of that in community preservation revenue for this second battery storage facility. This second battery storage facility would instantly become the second largest taxpayer in town. Again, it's important because without a pilot, we tax them the way we would tax anybody else's property, except they can claim things like depreciation in terms of changes in the valuation from year to year. If that happens, then there is a potential spike year over year, which could cost taxpayers money here in town. By doing a pilot agreement, we're able to standardize that, we're able to levelize that, and we have a level of predictability that allows us to properly budget as we go forward. So again, that's the whole purpose of that. I'll answer a whole bunch of questions, I'm sure, at town meeting as that comes up, but that is Article 16. Article 20, we have a small piece of property on Populatic Street that we had acquired several years ago as we were preparing to do the water treatment facility on site. We now have access to that property. We have this facility developed, and this resident's home that's on that site has been parceled out, and we can go forward and sell that. So we'll bring some revenue back into the Water Enterprise Fund. Articles 22, 23, 24, 25, those are zoning articles, and I just want to touch on a couple of them because Article 22 looks like it's about battery storage facilities. The Commonwealth of Massachusetts has required that every community have a permitting process for small capacity battery facilities or energy facilities. Could be solar, could be batteries, etc. This is not a large-scale battery facility like you see with Medway Grid or the proposed Medway Energy Center. These are for smaller scale facilities that the state requires us to have permits for and have a permitting process for. So we'll explain a little bit more about that one for sure. Article 24, that is a zoning change for the Central Business District. The main driver in this article is for height requirements, to change the potential height requirement. Because, as you know, the town is in the design stage right now for the future Medway municipal complex at the former Medway block site. In our design, we've indicated that there may be a need for a training tower for the fire department that would exceed the current height limitation. So this would set a new height limitation of up to 70 feet for a training tower on that site and for building height. There are a couple of other provisions in there about the potential increase of size of a convenience store from 4,000 square feet to 6,000 square feet, and it eliminates a maximum frontage for a convenience store or a gas station. Make no mistake, and I've heard some questions about this, is Article 24 a referendum on the proposed project and the redevelopment of that site by a private developer? The answer is absolutely not. This has nothing to do with that in terms of yes or no. This is whether or not a convenience store can be slightly larger than the 4,000 square feet. As an example, the Cumberland Farms out at 109 and 126 Milford and Summer Streets, that facility is 4,600 square feet. So under the CBD bylaw, we wouldn't even be able to build that facility there. So this is basically trying to catch up with modern times for that. So again, the primary driver is the height issue for the municipal facility. And last part, Article 25, that allows us allows the planning board to potentially adjust setbacks for the municipal facility that's there. So we'll try to have everything built within the proper setbacks, but if there was an outbuilding or a training building or a burn training or what have you, then the planning board would have the ability to review the plans and possibly make a change that meets the town's best interest. So that in a nutshell, and I know there's a lot of information there, represents what we're doing and what the highlights are of the annual town meeting that begins next Monday night, 7:30, Medway High School on May 11th. It is important that people be there. This is your chance to be heard. What we do at the local level impacts your day-to-day life as much as anything else in any political arena. So it's important that folks have an opportunity to listen in, to be part of the process, and to engage. There's a lot of information on the town's website. You can certainly check out medwayma.gov. The warrants are under the select board page, so you can go to medwayma.gov, find the select board and go to the town meeting warrants. Certainly give our office a call here if you have any specific questions, and by all means, we'll answer any questions on Monday night next week. So this is your time, this is your meeting, and it's our pleasure to be there to help and support. Thank you very much.